Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
It's back to the World Center of Racing to start off season number 6, and after the Daytona duels, the Chapman Environmental Series is ready to go racing for race number 1 of the season. Welcome in, everyone. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Back alongside me in the booth, after a long hiatus, we have Alex Gagnon with camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. Alex, the defending champion, Rob Roeder. He's looked good, but it was a little bit soft last season until the very end. Now, you got a whole new car with the Chevys and the new Mustang Dark Horse. This season should shape up with the new horsepower to be a fun one.
Yeah, 100%. So to your point, Rob Roeder retaining that championship last year, but really needed to turn it on at the end. Had a really tough early to middle part of the season. We'll see if that's the way this year's going to go, but we've got a bunch of new faces in here, plus a ton of returning drivers eager to stake their claim to the Chapman Cup Series title here at the KLD 250. That's where it's all going to be getting going. And this is always one of the must-see races of the year. It's a classic, super speedway racing, kicking off the year at Daytona. No better way to do it.
Of course, here with the racetrack, it needs no introduction, but we'll go ahead and show it anyway. Daytona International Speedway opened February 22nd, 1959, and it's one of the most steepest bank racetracks you'll ever come to. Talladega and Bristol are the only tracks that rival it in terms of banking, but it's high speed, high stakes, and you got to stay with the draft. The secrets to getting around this place: stay with a partner until the very end. And that's going to be the name of the game. You've seen a lot of these drivers in practice kind of tandem up.
You know, they say the only friends you have at the racetrack are the ones you bring to the racetrack, because everyone else is out there fighting for the same thing you are. But this is one of those style of races where it really is the only time where you do have to make some at least temporary alliances with some of the drivers around you, because this is not a place where you can really take a run and go solo at it. You need some draft help, whether you are that lead car or the pushing car. And there's a lot that's required from either of those roles, but we will see a lot of that here tonight, especially the closer we get to the end, when those pushes start getting more frantic as everyone is scrambling their way to the front of the field.
We'll take a look here at your race analysis. 100 laps here this evening with the pit road speed limit of 60 miles per hour. Tire sets available at 7. I think that's a little bit overkill, but we do have 2 green-white checkered attempts and the stage at lap 32. So keep that in mind. This is stage racing in this format in the Cup Series, and there will be points awarded for those spots. 50% fuel at the half distance, half fuel. So there should be just as many pit stops in this race as there would be in real life with the iRacing fixed setup. But with that, we've got about a minute 43 left here in the warm-up, and the grid has already been dictated because of the duels. So I think it's time to take you down trackside and give you the KLD Truck Repair Pole Award. I believe that's going to go to the number 24 of Nick Alves here today. So there he is with, I forget the qualifying time. I wrote it down somewhere, Alex. I lost it, but he was able to out-qualify everybody in the duels and puts his car up front. It's going to be a long road, though. Starting up front here doesn't mean anything. I know it says 21st, but that's in practice. So without that telemetry, we don't really know where he is. But let's get on to your grid now in the starting lineup. Nick Alves, there's Jeremy Burns starting to his right-hand side. So there's the front row here this evening. Michael Bennett and Dakota Floyd will start in row number 2. Then you have Michael Call and Sam Taylor for row number 3. 7th position to Daniel Holloway with the Candyman in the 21. Joe Joya will start in 8th. And rounding out your top 10, it's Ryan Munoz and Al Likens.
Taking a look here at row number 6, it'll be Alex Forget-Roubaix, multi-time winner last season, with Grant Turner rolling off on the outside. Tyler Harrison, one of the championship 4s from a year ago, alongside Parker Johnston in row number 7. Kevin Orlando Jr. rolls off in that 15th position. Brandon Pemitat in the 16th spot. The reigning champ, Rob Rader, ready to go here from spot number 17 alongside Matt Robinson, with Justin Ritchie and Carter Linz rounding out the top 20.
A lot of cars on this racetrack this evening, with row number 11 going to Dylan Picklesheimer. Jeremiah Nelson going to start to the right-hand side. Ben Lapter and Kyle Stewart for row 12. Row 13, Trevor Earhart with Earhart Holmes, Michael Reed in the 91. You have Christopher Schaefer and Justice Murphy in row 14. And it's Malcolm Simpson and Fred Pennington to round out row 15.
And looking back to the last few rows in the field here, rolling off 31st, it will be Trevor Keith in the 15 alongside the 26 of Kyle Diaz. Brandon Richardson rolls off in that row number 17 alongside the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. Grant Thorpe in the 77 rolls off in row number 18 alongside John Fike in the last row in our field today, the 88 of Jacob Sirkovich and the 95 of Hayden James.
There's a look at Daytona International and some very iconic paint schemes out here on the racetrack. Got some throwbacks out there. I see a Jeff Gordon throwback on the 57. Something familiar on the 7 car as well. Looks like maybe a Kevin Harvick, or it could be more modern day. But Daytona, I mean, most sports series have their biggest event at the end of the year. And NASCAR does it the exact opposite. Their biggest event is always right up front, right out of the gate. And then they have, of course, the Coke 600 and the All-Star race in the middle of the season. But it's a full 36 weeks that we go all the way to the championship.
Yeah, this is going to be a ton of fun. Always great to kick off the year at Daytona. There's no place like it. No better way to start the season than at a place like Daytona. Really kind of sets the tone. These drivers have been putting in a lot of prep, getting ready for this race. I know this is a big one for all these guys, and I'm sure probably no one more excited than the pole sitter Nick Alves rolling off in that top spot. Winner of this race a year ago, looking to become the second driver here in the Chapman Cup Series to win 2 in a row at this race. Trevor Earhart, the other driver to do so a couple seasons ago. So big opportunity here for Alves starting up on the front row. As you see, there's the other, the only multi-time winner, I believe, of this event, Trevor Earhart, who's rolling off in that middle of the mid-20s here. So he's got some work to do if he's going to add Daytona 250 number 3 to his resume here tonight.
A lot of cars to get caught up here, and I'm looking at the back of this field. They might have to delay the green. Somebody didn't get going, couldn't get it rolling on pit road. So a technical error somewhere around mid-pack, and these guys hopefully can get caught up and get sorted before we get to the exit of turn 4. They might have to turn the lights back on that pace car.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. We'll take an eye here, but you see that outside row not at all stacked up yet the way the inside is. You see everyone just kind of filtering in now. These last couple rows, though, still in the middle of 3 and 4. Waiting to see what the word is here. Lights are still off on the pace car. Looks like everyone's more or less sorted out, so it looks like we're going to be going green here in just a moment.
Season number 6, underway at Daytona. And for 250 miles, lap number 1's going to go to Nick Alves, just barely there. Outside line trying to get it going. You have Dakota Floyd up on the high side with a push from Sam Taylor in the number 3. So 3 iconic paint schemes up there on the outside.
Yeah, they are trying to get that outside lane connected and working right now. The inside obviously a little bit more connected here through the opening couple laps. A good run, though, for Floyd and for Taylor as they bump out 2 cars clear of the pack. Dakota Floyd, now the leader here going into turn 3. He won one of the duels. He won duel 2 the other night. We know that car's got some speed. As you see now, it's the 3 of Taylor dropping to the bottom, trying to take that spot away.
And it's just as fast as the 24 took the lead. Somebody else took it from him. Dive to the inside. Sam Taylor going to lead his first lap. Lap 3 underway with 36 cars. 1 car for every week in this season. And Michael Bennett on the outside in the 14 has lost 3 spots, has fallen back. Watching these guys move through the field. Biggest mover right now, 6 positions gained to Jeremiah Nelson in the 31. As he continues to move up.
Yeah, he seems to be rolling pretty good right now. Trying to hold on to that outside lane. He's got the reigning champ, Rob Rader, tucked in just behind him. Carter Lynn's in front of him. Got some fast traffic that he's working with here just outside the top 10. As we stay now only a couple laps in. Everyone's still pretty double wide throughout the field here. And that's the thing with these next-gen cars, I think more so than some of the early generations of, is that there is a lot more of a desire to be staying too wide if you can help it, because it is much harder to just break away if everyone's in a single-file line to go and pass the guy in front of you. You need to have those sort of lanes of separation to make something happen, and that's why I think we're going to see a lot of too-wide racing throughout this event.
Dakota Floyd holding on to the point again with the 7 of Joe Joya giving the shove. Joya doing a fantastic job so far with the 13 of Likens. That's the other part about this race is you'll see a lot of names that maybe struggle at other tracks just dominate at Daytona. They'll be up front for 90% of the event.
Yeah, there's also a lot of opportunities for cars to work their way up and down through this field, so just because you might see someone up front right now doesn't mean in 5 laps they're guaranteed to be there. I mean, we were talking about Nick Alves and Bennett earlier, and those two guys have both dropped now 5th and 6th. They're a couple cars deep on the inside row as that outside lane continues to churn through a couple people. Sam Taylor now back behind Dakota Floyd as Joe Joya moves up to 2nd, so this shuffling will continue, and we will see that just ramp up more and more as the day goes on. So take a look a little further back here. There's Kyle Stewart just outside the top 10 looking to make something happen on the high side.
I'm actually looking for the 11 of Matt Robinson, down 3 positions, or 18 positions rather. A struggle here at the start of this race. Maybe by design though. I know some drivers like to play the safe strategy in these events, and I can't say that I blame them. But if you take a look here at our full screen, as we actually have a double full screen here. There he is. There's a look at Matt Robinson. He's actually taking one hand off the wheel. That's how relaxed it is back here in the back.
Yeah, you know, you have the opportunity to breathe a little bit more. You don't have to worry about anyone trying to apply too much pressure behind you. And right now, Robinson just trying to assess what's going on in front of him a little bit here. He's got a lot of work to do to get back up to the front, but he does not seem to be in a crazy hurry at the moment, and nor should you have to worry about it too much. Still a lot of race to go here. Definitely several rounds of pit stops between now and the finish, so no need to try to, you know, play hero ball a little bit, try to work your way up to the front, because you cannot win this race on lap 7, but you can absolutely lose it on lap 7.
Lloyd and Likens battling for the lead again here as they go into 3 and 4. Inside line hasn't been as connected, I'd say. The 7 of Joya a lot closer, tucked in tighter on the back end of that 57 car. And you watch there the 13 of Likens just behind him. It was Sam Taylor. There was about a car length gap between those two cars on the inside. So Taylor maybe getting a little overheated. Now back up on the rear bumper, but I think it's too little too late. Floyd could probably take Joya and clear to the inside if they wanted it.
Yeah, they probably could, but also I think the 57 and the 7 have worked really well together to this point. So I don't think there's any incentive for them to try to break that up unless they're both able to make that move. And right now, it looks like Al Likens right to the door of Joe Joya, so only Dakota Floyd clear. And with how well those two have worked in the early going, I have no doubt they're going to try to bring them both, you know, one way or the other. But here comes Likens with some forward progress. The inside line showing a bit of life, and he's going to be door-to-door with Dakota Floyd coming to the stripe here.
Going to be door-to-door across the line for lap number 8, now 9, going into turn 1. Inside falls apart again. It looks like a little bit of a connection issue there with Nick Alves.
And that's the last thing you want in a pack racing style event is poor connectivity. Because if you start blinking with everyone running, you know, only inches apart from one another, even if your connection reestablishes a split second later, that might be all it takes for something to get really squirrely and potentially cause the big one just through the nature of someone not knowing that you were there with how quick some of these moves form and fall apart at Daytona. So definitely something to keep an eye on, not just for Al, but throughout this whole field as we jump on board with Al Likens, leader of that front row. They've fallen back a little bit here as now Grant Turner is going to work that 39 up in the 3rd spot. And he's not alone as Pamitat up there as well in 4th.
190 miles per hour. We can go a lot faster than that in these next-gen stock cars. We had speeds well over 195 in the dual races, but the outside was pushing a lot harder when that happened. So I think everyone, like you said, is content to kind of run their single file, but you're watching the inside fall back about a car, half a car a lap here. And I think it has everything to do with the 3 of Sam Taylor. Cannot step out of line. He's got cars to his outside, and he's overheating.
Yeah, there does not seem to be as much of a push there. And the other thing is that initially, whenever we saw that outside line jump out to an advantage, typically within a car or two, someone would drop down, try to lead the front to move their way up. We saw that with Sam Taylor. We saw that with Al Likens, but no one has taken the opportunities to do that in the past couple laps here. And we're starting to see that outside really string together a bit of an advantage here, about 4 or 5 cars deep before we get to the double wide battle for 5th.
And we're going to give you our best rendition of the Fox coverage that we possibly can. Hopefully I don't get canceled off of YouTube, but I do believe it was this camera that they used for 90% of the broadcast. So I guess why not? Let's try and see if it's effective. If we actually show the whole field, then nobody can be mad that we didn't show their driver, right?
100%, and not only, it's either this shot or the one where you can only see one car at the time. Those are the two choices. It's either ultra wide or ultra narrow, but Grant Turner, you saw there through the tri-oval, drops down to lead the inside line, has a good run here with Likens, and they're going right after Dakota Floyd here. Grant Turner actually has the edge. Not fully clear yet, but he does have a nose in front of that 57 here going into 3.
We'll look here on board with the driver of the 39 to the lead for Turner. And a pretty sizable advantage of about 3 car lengths, but outside's coming back.
Yeah, they're starting to work their way up there. Al Likens has glued himself to the back bumper of Grant Turner here. Those 2 cars are working really well together right now. See a little wave from Grant. That is someone who is comfortable
Wow.
up front in the middle of the corner. Going to grab, what looks like a little sip of the Red Bull there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Talk
if
about a
I'd take
guy
my
who is
hands.
comfortable with his race car right now.
I would never take my hands off the wheel. Never. If I was in the lead at
Well,
Daytona,
especially if I'm leading, yeah.
Yeah, my knuckles are
Especially
white.
with how close Likens has been running them, yeah.
I would not.
But,
But you know what? Kudos to him if he's comfortable and confident with it.
Yeah, man. Clearly, he seems like it, and honestly, I don't blame him in the slightest. That car looks really fast here in the opening few laps.
I believe it's Tony Stewart that was doing that back in the day, driving around here one-handed in traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, and, fitting that, he made his return to Daytona this weekend, and now here we are with, the calling card of a little bit here. The other calling card, of course, being we can't leave until half the field wrecks, but, hopefully that one does not come to fruition the way he spoke into existence all those years ago.
Still have 36 cars on the racetrack, and we still have 36 of them in this draft. It is nose to tail on lap 14. Trevor Keith at the tail end of this pack with Matt Robinson at the back end. And there's a driver that had a playoff berth last season. Came oh so close to winning a race and then finally put it together. But I tell you what, those road courses, Trevor Keith was dominant at every one of them. Just couldn't seal the deal. Especially at Chicago Street. That one comes to mind immediately.
Yeah, and I know that was one of those things that was talked about ad nauseum last year, but just could not get over how dramatic of a finish that was. I mean, the road course battles we had last year throughout the series were absolutely phenomenal, and Trevor Keith was an absolutely massive part of that. Him, Carter Linz, and Jeremy Burns, I would say, were the 3 really dicing it up every time we hit the opportunity to go left and right. A lot of fun opportunities to do so, and hopefully we get to see more of the same this year. Looks like a lot of communication going on here with TK potentially to some of the teammates he's got in the field here. Everyone, I think if you're that far in the back, there's a lot of folks who have already migrated down to the bottom of the racetrack. I wonder if some of them are already thinking like, all right, when I need to make my way down pit road, I need to be in that bottom lane. So especially if you're that far back, you're not trying to do anything too crazy in the opening 16 laps, working your way to the bottom and making sure you have that free avenue to work your way on the pit road when it becomes needed. Hugely advantageous.
So a little bit of a connectivity issue here tonight. If you guys are seeing that, I know that OBS is fine as we're seeing cars flood down pit road halfway through this stage, lap 16. And a flood of cars all the way from about 20th position with Linz, Earhart, Call, Holloway, Murphy, Harrison, and Robinson. Tia Silva with 199. Thank you for the donation. And Warp Tia, 3 months membership, Vspeed Fast Pass. We missed you. We did. Absolutely.
100%. It wasn't the same without Race and Rev back, without the Chapman Cup Series, or without you. So welcome back, and Hopefully you're enjoying this as much as we are here through the opening 17 as we have our first round of pit stops done and complete on board with the 45 of Tyler Harrison.
Well, I think we've earned a Twisted Tea recharge rally cam. What do you think?
Absolutely on board here with the driver of the 45 as you'll see what it's like getting back on the track, merging in here with traffic as the opening pit cycle fully underway here from Daytona.
Sure, we'll revisit that again as we have more cars down pit road. It's Jacob Sirkovich, Nick Alves also in for service. Michael Bennett down and away. Some cars taking just enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. And coming back around here with the 57 of Dakota Floyd, I would assume this time by, we're going to see the rest of these cars flood down pit road. No, a little bit of stay out here for Grant Turner.
I was about to say, about 2/3 of them went down. There's a lot of cars locking up the brakes, trying to get this thing slowed down. Looks like most of them did get it slowed down, but boy, that got a little dicey making their way down pit road. And it looks like there's about one more group of about 8 cars or so that has yet to come down pit road. Have to imagine they would be next. I think Dakota Floyd overshot his box there just a little bit. That could cost him a little bit of time. And a little bit of time here under green flag stops might cause you to lose the draft. And if you lose the draft under green, oh, you're going to have a really bad time.
And so I believe I'm at the mercy of iRacing right now with these cars blinking in and out. I'm looking at everything else and it's working just fine. So whatever the problem is here, it's trending in the wrong direction. It's continuously getting worse. And John Fike, Brandon Richardson with a black flag had problems entering pit road under speed. Take a quick look at the replay. Just a lockup here for the 8.
Well, if iRacing lets us, we will take a look at the replay. There you go. Yeah, just a bit of smoke coming out the back there, and yeah, just overcooked it a little bit coming down pit road. Tough break, however, it is early. Still some time to rebound from that. You see this lead pack here of Turner through Picklesheimer, the top 5 still out. Then it's Pennington, and then back to James there in 7th. As you see the rest of these cars now peeling off down pit road. The time has come, except for, I guess, Dylan Picklesheimer. Him and Jeremiah Nelson, I think, may be the only car who stayed out.
I think Picklesheimer
Or actually,
intended
it's
to come
just
in.
Picklesheimer.
Yeah, I think he intended to come in there. I'll take this back again. I think he was trying to and then saw the cars to his inside. And hopefully he doesn't run out of fuel here.
Hopefully. We also just had a really scary moment on the backstretch with Grant Thorpe. If we're able to find it here on the old Vspeed instant replay. There was a couple lanes of traffic all merging back together, and Grant Thorpe almost ended up sideways down the middle of the Daytona Superstretch. Everything is settled out, no cautions, but scary moment for sure. You see just how much they were getting shuffled around here coming off the corner. And take a look at the 77, that yellow car in the middle, in the bottom lane here. Gets shoved way out of line, way sideways, back down below the apron, back onto the racetrack. I mean, he was all over the place. Fantastic driving to keep that car forward without losing the draft, because this could have been catastrophic.
Heck of a save there. On board with Grant Thorpe as he has moved up to the middle lane. Thought he was going to go with the 57 of Floyd, but he has a connection here with the 27. That's Kevin Orlando, one of the admin group here at Racing Revolution, as pit stops have concluded. And Sam Taylor, Dylan Picklesheimer, just now coming back out on the racetrack. He probably will get to the tail end of this draft, of this pack, but the 3 car is going to run into the back.
Whoa, almost hit Picklesheimer coming off of pit road there. Sam Taylor was sideways off of turn 2. It's a miracle he did not collect Picklesheimer in the process. Wow.
Yeah, Grant Thorpe on the back bumper. These 2 cars were up front. They were going by Brandon Richardson in the 8. And then watch this, sideways. And I got to avoid a car coming off the pit. There's no room for that. None.
Wow. heads-up driving there from Sam Taylor to commit to going further down below to not collect Picklesheimer in the process. He did not have a lot of room to make that work, but found a way. And this field now all back and, for the most part, reconnected. And it's going to put, I believe, the pole sitter, Nick Alves, back at the front here, and he's connected with Rob Rader.
Two very quiet cars here in this event so far. We're coming up on the end. Oh, we've got problems in the back of the field. Crash here on lap 23.
Bennett's in it. Bamatat. Looks like the 5's going through the grass. Bennett was hard into that wall. You see a lot of right front damage on the 14. He's not the only one, as the yellow's out for the first time here tonight from Daytona. 24 laps in. Wasn't even through green flag pit stops, but it was the lap after. Although you can start to feel it coming in the air there, Bradley, is, yeah. And it's around, also the 87 slide up into the fence, and nowhere there for the 14 or that target car to go.
Back this up a little bit further. It's right on board with the 81. You can watch this push gone wrong.
Yeah, and that's all it takes, you know. So Ryan Munoz there, second in line behind Michael Bennett, and they come off of turn 4. Bennett cuts down off the corner a little bit. Munoz goes high, but they're running so tight to one another that there's already contact there. And you see Bennett was trying to get back up into that line when he realized that the line went higher. And it happened so fast, but you know, that's all it takes here at Daytona to have an issue out of something like that. And heavy damage now for the 81, the 14, and the 87, who was that third car in line who was just trying to avoid it.
While we have a moment, we would like to thank KLD Truck Repair for sponsoring tonight's event, and of course, Chapman Environmental Services. Coming back on board for Season 6 of the Cup Series. A lot of other secondary sponsors here with All About Bugs, Butt Kicker, Lynn's Heating and Cooling. Coastal Financial also going to be involved this season. We've got a lot of people sponsoring different events throughout the year.
Just a great group of sponsors for this league, season in, season out. And, you know, it's that kind of support that keeps not only what these guys are doing on the racetrack fun and entertaining, but also what we do up in the booth here fun and entertaining. So it's really cool to be broadcasting a league that has such a strong base of people supporting it. And that also goes for the fans at home. For all y'all tuning in, watching, thank y'all for tuning in all last season, and hope you're ready for another fun season coming up here. We've already had a fun 25 laps here, and we have so much racing to bring you here in this series between now and November. Just about every week on Wednesday nights. It's going to be a blast.
And we have the schedule here. We'll take a look at that for just a moment, but there's a look at the schedule. And we'll have to maybe get this one sharpened up a little less, maybe make those letters a little bit bigger, but it's Daytona, Atlanta, and COTA, of course, following the Cup Series schedule all the way to Homestead. Championship night for the Chapman Environmental Cup Series is already thinking about November for some of these guys, but this is not a win and you're in format. So unlike last year where you were guaranteed a playoff berth, this time around it's going to come down to raw points and maintaining those top 16 to get you in. And honestly, I'm surprised that NASCAR went and changed that. I mean, they'd had so much controversy for the seasons that they ran it, but I think everyone had gotten used to it. Well, in good fashion, NASCAR said, well, we're going to change it again.
As with anything, the moment people understand what's going on, got to mix it up. But, you know, in my opinion, I do think the chase is a good balance of, you know, if you want to have a little bit of that postseason energy that is a big priority for them at the moment, blending that with the fact that you're still trying to reward being able to be up front week in, week out. At the end of the day, this is what racing's all about, being able to be there week in, week out. And it'll be interesting to see what the reception is, both for here, but also, in the NASCAR Cup Series, how that's going to be received. Because I remember when it left, everyone said, yeah, I don't know if that was the best system. And then they changed it, and everyone said, I don't know, maybe we should go back. So we'll see how people will take it at the end of the year. But that's still a distance away here for a lot of these guys. I'm sure some of them won't even be thinking about it until we get to the summer here. Right now, it's just trying to get their season kicked off on a high note.
Yeah, I think it was just an example of it could always be worse. And with the playoff format, we had a lot of champions that didn't quite make sense. And that might be personal opinion, but I think that a driver that wins one race throughout the season and then doesn't win anything the rest of the year comes in, last 10 races, does what he needs to do. I guess it's a talent group all its own, but I don't agree that it actually crowns a correct driver. I mean, Denny Hamlin, I'm not a Hamlin fan, but I feel like he had it. And really and truly, and you look at raw statistics, that 11 car had it. So, but NASCAR aside, we're here for we've got the Chapman Cup Series here to talk about. Nick Alves, Rob Rader, the defending champion, the 5-time champion in the 53 to the inside of your pole sitter, and the 24 stage 1 concludes at lap 32.
This will be a short sprint to the finish here, so we might see some big pushes here, knowing that this is a short little run to try to pick up some points here. Curious to see how aggressive people are going to be. Obviously, still a lot of race left, but not a whole lot of race until they get the opportunity to come back down pit road on a pretty normal cycle here. So we'll see what happens as they work their way down the backstretch. Pretty good alignment from both the outside and inside row. Looks like Alves has a little bit of the edge here going into 3.
He will have the edge. He has Alex Forget giving him the push, and then on the inside it's Parker Johnston. So some new names up here giving the shove after that cycle of green flag pit stops that we completed. We came back out about a lap after it at our first caution of the evening. 3 wide in the middle of the pack, back here around 17. Picklesheimer in the middle of that.
First 3 wide we've seen tonight. That's, I believe, Michael Reed up high. Trying to see who's to the inside. That's Joe Joya in the 7 to the inside of that. Only 1 car on that far outside lane, though. As they get that sorted out, Picklesheimer slides in behind the 91, and we're back to double file.
Sorted it out quickly, but looking again there is Reed. He looks up high again on the outside. I want to say that's the 88 machine of Jacob Sirkovich. Some new paints here, so having some time figuring out who's in what, but that's a Red Bull machine as Reed will look to the outside again, and he gets the door closed by the 33 of Picklesheimer for a moment there. Probably doesn't want to go up that high again, especially in the closing laps of the stage. Reed is looking every way he can to get around him.
Yeah, he's trying to find his way up forwards here. The problem is I'm not sure if he's getting a ton of help from the cars behind him. Picklesheimer now going to line himself with Sirkovich, traps Reed in the middle as John Fike to the inside here. The 5 also going to work his way high. A lot of action happening here in the back part of the field as the 88 of Sirkovich nearly ended up in that turn 3 wall there, really swung up there into the corner. So now Reed getting down to the double yellow. Michael Reed is really trying to, it's like someone just threw a hornet's nest in that car. He is trying to go everywhere right now, trying to make some forward progress.
Yeah, he's got 2 laps to do it as well, so I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get up here and maximize points for this stage end. But he's got to do it meticulously, and he's working whatever line he has available at the time. He worked the middle. I don't think that's going to work again. He needs to get back to the outside and keep that car up there. He's going to go to the middle now. He finds the 27, or 23 rather. It's Christopher Schaefer. Maybe they'll work together. 54 on the outside, the 5 on the high line. Michael Call holding it up there in the 3rd lane.
Yeah, it looks like what was the outside lane kind of migrating toward the middle here. Leaves the 5 high and dry back here.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
A little dicey through the tri-oval.
The 88 just went 91, no, he wasn't too happy about that move earlier. That was the door touch I was referencing there through 3 and 4. As now Reed will go to the outside, and a block here from the 23. They're trying to get it going with the 54 leading this group. That's Caleb Gilbert. Haven't mentioned his name tonight.
There we go through 3 and 4 for the most part. 2 wide coming off the corner. Nick Alves, Rob Rader. Dead heat coming to the line here for lap 32 where they'll trigger the stage.
One more time around here. Presented by Earhart Homes. Love where you live. The end of stage 1 coming up right here. A lot of contact in 4th position. Rob Rader getting leaned on by Justice Murphy.
Oh, things are really exploding on the backstretch now. Cars getting all the way up to the wall, fanning out, trying to find some room to run. Up front, though, it looks like Alves under attack and side by side here in that middle lane. Justice Murphy up high, door to door. They are no room for error. Off of 4, coming to the line. Who's going to take the stage?
It looks like Nick Alves by a car length across the line. He will be the stage 1 winner.
That'll bring out the yellow flag. Stage winner, Nick Alves. Last year's Daytona 250 winner, the pole sitter today, now the stage winner. Got to imagine he's starting to really like Daytona.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's performed well at it in the past. And it looks like here he's going to get stage number 1, top 10 on the left-hand side of your screen. Dakota Floyd fell all the way back to 10th there. I'm not sure where that caution fell across the line is exactly where he was in position. I'll have to go back and take a look at that.
He's also got some nose damage.
Yeah.
The front end on the 57's been caved in a little bit. I'm not sure if that's from something that happened on the backstretch or something earlier that I just missed or what, but he's got a bit of damage on that 57 as well. You see, he was, about 4th car there on the outside coming to the line.
Yeah, it was about 10th position here, but there it is across the line by about a full car length. And I want to say that Justice Murphy just beat Rob Rader to that line there. But then as the caution flew, the position held. I don't know exactly how they're going to score this because you watch there with the 12 car. And it happens so fast, but there's the top 10 across the line right there. Man, I'm having a heck of a time here. We're going to try this one more time. Let's try and get Dakota Floyd across the line, and then we'll pause, and I want to take a look at this and see exactly where this 12 car was, because I want to say that he was ahead of Rob Rader. If he is, and I'm trying my best to find a camera angle, it looks like he is there. So I think they're going to have to give him 3rd place points, in my opinion.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that might have to be the case, but also, again, it's not a scientific process for how the stage works. It's not something that's built into iRacing. It is a manually thrown yellow whenever the top 10 cross. So at a place like Daytona, with how tight people run to one another, they may need to take a look at that when this one is said and done. But, you know, the admins are also the folks driving the cars as well, so they're not going to be able to pop out, take a look, and then get back in because they've got their own race to worry about. As you see Justice Murphy here, part of the pack of everybody coming down pit road this time for the 2nd time here tonight on lap 34.
I would assume that we're going to burn one of those sets of tires for every one of these cars here tonight. 7 tire sets available. 4 of them going to go on the car here for set 1. No reason to take a fuel-only stop. So trying to make up track position, and then good luck holding on to it. As the 3 is down and away, there goes the 57, the 24 getting 4 tires as well. So some 2 tire calls for Sam Taylor and Dakota Floyd.
Intrigued to see how well that works out. You know, tire wear is not usually a part of the conversation here at Daytona, but you know, track position also, not to say it's not important, but with everyone running side by side, you know, the opportunity to play the lanes a little bit is very present. And especially in like Sam Taylor's case, who was a part of that top group, I believe, when the stage came out, like how much time would he truly have lost if he did a 4-tire stop versus taking the 2? Like, I'm just wondering how big of a boost that's going to be in the grand scheme of things. Because now he's got some track position, but it wasn't like he had poor track position before this moment in time, to my understanding.
We're going to take a quick commercial break here for the Chapman Cup Series. You are watching Vspeed. More coverage continues for Race 1, Season 6 at Daytona. Back with more in a moment.
Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Welcome back here to our coverage of the Chapman and Environmental Services Cup Series. It's been a while since I've had to say that, Alex, but we're back here live at Daytona for stage number 2. Lap 37 about to be underway. Sam Taylor and Dakota Floyd with a little bit of front-end damage going to be up front for this restart. Here we go, back live in racing. Big jump here on the inside and a move down to the bottom for the third and fourth position.
Yeah, the outside lane has already basically disappeared by the time we hit the corner here. Everyone dove to the inside up front. Rob Raeder is the side-by-side battle for 6th, I believe, right now, maybe 7th. Going off the corner. That's how many cars had already filtered to the inside. So Sam Taylor and Al Likens dialed in right now at the front of the field, and they've got a lot of draft support there running that double yellow.
Holding it on the outside there for a moment, but the outside line continuing to fall back. That's the 12 of Justice Murphy, who made a lot of contact with Rob Raeder on that final lap of the stage. It was Nick Alves in the 24. They got the stage 1 win, and he'll collect those bonus points. The top 10 has shuffled. It's kind of flip-flopped here with Dakota Floyd, Sam Taylor up front now. And Alex Forget here. Yeah, look at that. Big push there on the inside. About 5 car lengths.
Yeah. A nice little breakaway there. Where here comes Justice Murphy on the outside. Tyler Harrison, Nick Alves got that outside row, starting to reel in the leaders once again. It is a game of inches, especially when it comes to Daytona. You know, every lap, if you're just clawing your way a little closer to the front, you know you're doing something right with how aero-dependent these draft setups are. And you see Justice Murphy in the outside lane doing just that as he's now side by side for third. Sam Taylor actually bails on the inside line, throws a big block to the high side. Justice Murphy just goes up the hill and says, yeah, I don't think so. And we're 3 wide for third.
The most aggression that we've seen all night long from these drivers up front. It's been pretty cordial for the most part, but a shuffle here. Taylor gets pushed out of the middle. Dylan Picklesheimer. And another 3 wide moment with the 12 car. He's got the 45 on the back end. That's Tyler Harrison.
And it's starting to look really scattered up there, and all this is starting to let Al Likens put some distance here from those cars on the outside. Murphy trying to dig back here with Harrison as Alves ducked to the inside. So now it is Likens and Floyd up front before you get to this battle for third between Murphy and Alves. And then Harrison, you're on board with. He's battling with Joe Joya right now in that spot. The inside lane, for as much support as they have, do not seem super well connected there going through the corners.
Yeah, and it's maybe just a product of breathing these cars a little bit, but you see Harrison, he has to back off into 3 and 4, so the outside's starting to flake apart a little bit as well. It's really quick now. These next-gen cars overheating. They've really changed the aerodynamics on these things, and the air inlet at the super speedways, it gets you about a lap and a half of pushing before you have to lift, as you see an elevator move there by the 45 to the inside line.
Another move here. Justice Murphy going to work his way to the inside now, and as quickly as the outside lane had reworked their way to the front, it has vanished once again. As people found holes in that inside group, they've all shuffled on down. And you got to get all the way back now, I think, to Sam Taylor to find the outside lane. He's battling for the 7th spot right now. And this is probably a dream scenario for about Dakota Floyd, Nick Alves. Al Likens obviously with the lead, but he's also burning the most fuel, punching that hole in the air for the rest of the inside line. Dakota Floyd and Nick Alves able to save probably a little bit more fuel.
Oh, problems in the back. Car.
Sam Taylor sideways.
And a caution's out here at
and they're
Daytona
still wrecking.
for the 2nd time officially. And I would classify this one as the big one.
Oh, and it's a parking lot. Yeah, that's the entire inside lane got decimated there to some capacity, some with damage, some just going through the infield. There's cars sideways, there's a pile of smoke. It all starts right here just after the tri-oval. The outside line gets disconnected, Picklesheimer and Sam Taylor. And from there, it's Sam Taylor's car coming back down the racetrack right to where that inside line is that scatters everybody into the grass. This accordion effects all the way down to the middle there. It looks like Jacob Sirkovich was one of those cars who got caught up in it. On board here with Michael Bennett, you see how deep he got into the grass to try to avoid this. Got some crazy airtime over the curbing. Was trying to get the thing battened back down. Looks like he was able to do so, but a big time air moment there for Bennett. Those are those crashes that just terrify you as a driver, not only because the opportunities are so drastic to potentially get hit, but also there's just so much smoke that gets kicked up that it's hard to even see where you can put the race car. Somebody there on the top left of the screen, one of those white cars, just had a fantastic drive through that. I'm not entirely sure who that was through the sky view here. You see the worker in their way through, jump up to the high side, back around circuit. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. I'm not sure who that is off the top of my head here.
And lapped her into the 64.
Oh, nearly caught the 3, nearly caught the 55. Able to work his way high. Boy, what an onboard there for Ben Laughter. Crazy stuff.
So able to sneak his way through that from low to high and stay undamaged, but it's still Al Likens up front. Will we see some cars top off with fuel this time by? If I'm Likens, I'm burning the most. I'm coming down.
And it looks like that might be the case. Everybody in at least the top 5 coming down, maybe make a top 10. Yeah, it looks like everybody making their way down pit road here. Opportunity for some more fuel. Get you that much closer to being able to make this thing to the end. Likens overshot his box a little bit. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Could cost him overall trying to get off of pit road. Loses out here to maybe Joe Joy. Definitely lost out to Dakota Floyd.
Just one
Only
spot
one
lost
spot
there.
dropped there for Likens.
Close call.
Yeah. Could have been a lot worse.
So it's Dakota Floyd who gets the lead spot, but he's got a little bit of front end damage on this 57, so it'll take a moment for him to get this car back to par, and I think it's going to take a caution, but if you told Dakota Floyd he has damage right now, he's going to say, I'm in the lead. I don't care.
Yeah, really. The only time he would care is if now that he's in the lead, if they try to let this thing loose, and he finds out that that damage is affecting his top line speed outside of the draft, that would, I think, be the only time we would see him really be too worried about that. Because in the draft, you're not going to notice stuff like that, but out front, you just might, depending on how notable that damage is.
So we have a moment here. I think it's an opportunity to pull one of these drivers up into the broadcast booth. And Alex, I'm going to let you be in charge of this. Whoever you think, whoever you got here to pull in.
Let's pull in our current race leader, Dakota Floyd, with Orange Speed Racing. There we go.
Dakota Floyd, it's Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, Dakota, I'm going to tell you this. You probably are already aware of it, but you got a little front end damage on that car.
Yeah, I've got about 20 seconds of damage in the pits. It doesn't really seem to be affecting the speed at all. I've been able to hold up, so I really haven't been too worried about taking it.
Outside of that, you've been up front for 99% of this race so far, and you took the lead there very early, but then fell back to 10th there on that stage. Do you think that was the moment that maybe that damage started to count?
I don't really think so, because when we pit, I actually slid through my box. I think quite a few of us actually slid through our boxes, so we had some poor pit road execution and kind of put us on the back foot there for the stage. But yeah, I don't really think this damage is playing a key factor yet. It certainly doesn't feel like it.
Well, outside of that, Dakota, you're going to be the command car for this restart, approaching the halfway mark. Do you have anybody in mind that you're comfortable working with here until the very end?
Yeah, certainly. That car right behind me of Joe, he's been one really good pusher. I mean, he pushed me to a win in the duels, and he's been doing a phenomenal job tonight. So I'm definitely looking forward to having him behind me, or if he gets in front of me and pushing him.
Well, there you go, Dakota Floyd in the 57 machine. Anybody come to mind here to shout out before we let you go back to racing?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Chapman Environmental, main sponsor, and shout out to the league. It's good to be back, and shout out to Vspeed. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, and I'm excited for the rest of the season here.
Dakota Floyd in the number 57, back up to Orange Speed here. Good luck. There you have him. And you know what? He gave the exact answer that I thought he would give, but he just said it differently. I don't care. I'm up front. It's not affecting me that bad. I'm gonna stay here. Track position is a lot easier to lose than it is to gain. And if you take that extra 20 seconds on pit road, you're restarting at the back of this field, and we've seen how chaotic it could be back there.
100%. Well, my only concern for him might be a compounding problem. You know, you take a pit, you go further back, then something happens, you're caught up in it. But either way, green flags back out here at Daytona, working our way on the lap 46. Dakota Floyd out-Likens, leading the pack down into turn 1. And yeah, we'll see if that arrow damages any problem for the 57 leading up at the front of the field. He seems pretty confident it won't be an issue, and so far so good as they work their way through the gears.
He has the partner Joe Joya giving him the push down the backstretch. Likens has the 12 of Murphy giving him the push. They're going to prevail here on the outside. They'll drop down in front of the 57, cleared by 2 cars.
Likens and Murphy now to the point, leaves Nick Alves in control of that high side for the moment. Tell you what, that 13 has looked really strong tonight. Anytime he's had the opportunity, he's been able to drive his way up to the front here. Leading now his 7th lap of the race. I think that's second most only to Dakota Floyd and Nick Alves, or maybe third most of the Dakota Floyd and Nick Alves. But yeah, the 13 has looked really, really stout tonight. Been in the top 5 basically all evening long.
John Fike giving the push to the 24 Nick Alves as they come off a turn 2, but the outside line not very organized. Finally going to start to get it going on the momentum. The train starting here on the outside.
Starting to try to get that thing rolling as you see Dakota Floyd for a second pops out to the middle lane, trying to see if there's anything out there. Not really at the moment. Top 5 very much spread out in a relative sense for Daytona here. You see before they get back, Kevin Orlando Jr. trying to get all the way up to the fence. Thought about trying to make it 3 wide. Nobody went with him. He'll slot back in behind Grant Turner.
We'll take a quick on board here with the driver of the number 27. And I'm honestly jealous of that mustache.
I was going to say, I'm jealous of the hat, so, you know, different priorities at the moment, but, boy, he looks dialed in right now.
Looks pretty connected here in 18th position, started in 15th. He's been running mid-pack all race long. But when you're back here, you get used to the turbulence and avoiding things. I don't think that Orlando picked up any damage from that big crash. It looks like he has a pretty clean car. We look at it from another angle here. I think he's okay. We'll take a closer look here down the end of pit road. Yeah, it looks like that car is pretty clean, so he should be okay to the end of this race.
Yeah, at least as far as things sit right now, he is definitely in decent shape here. As you see, he's working with Parker Johnston, Grant Turner there, middle of that outside lane. Up front, though, it's all Al Likens at the moment. First side-by-side battle isn't until you get to Nick Alves, I think, battling for the 8th position right now with Kyle Stewart. That's how far back this outside lane's going. Big moment there for the 44. Yeah, Simpson got a little onto the apron there. Looks like no harm, no foul, but definitely some energy starting to pick up here in the middle of the field.
Able to hold on to it, holds it down. He's running in the 18th position, now gaining a couple spots. The 95 of Hayden James on the outside. So some new names here. Malcolm Simpson, Hayden James, Brandon Habitat. Also have Manaz there in the 81. And then familiar names up front here with Dakota Floyd, Al Likens, Justice Murphy. Pulling away about 4 car lengths here into 3. More than that, 5-6 car lengths.
Yeah, the inside lane has really opened it up here. Side-by-side battle, I think at this point has dropped outside of the top 10. The outside lane really just not connected right now. John Fike, the highest running car in that outside lane, he's currently scored in that 10th position. Yeah, there just seems to be a lot of disorganization. Now we're going 3 wide further back here. Parker Johnston up to the fence. He's got Sirkovich up there with him. I think this is part of the reason why we're not seeing that outside lane really get their way back up to the front here. They looked really dominant before the stage, but now the tables have turned, and now the in place to be right now is down on the WO line.
The 87 of Pamatat moved up in front of the 48, kind of broke their momentum. They had it going there for a moment. Now another car is going to move up. That's the 81 machine of Manaz. They're going to take it 3 cars up to the top, but just not able to get anything going. It's shuffled around, but they're still stuck behind the 24 and the 65.
Yeah, a lot of stuff from, the 81 of Munoz, a good rebound for him. He got caught up in that early incident with Bennett and with Pamatat, and now starting to get going in the right direction again. Looks like they got some of that damage repaired. So back in the fight here. All 36 cars that started this thing still on the racetrack, I believe. We had a late join with the 9, but everyone here really still on the lead lap with the exception of that 9 car. And everyone running within still 3 seconds of the race leader. And that's with how strung out this inside lane has gotten.
This next-gen car, very difficult to keep it going on the side draft, the momentum, the 3 lanes. We'll continue to watch them shuffle around here on the outside, trying to figure out a way to get back up here to this top spot. As Al Likens continues to lead, Justice Murphy, Dakota Floyd, Joe Joya, Tyler Harrison, the top 5. Down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and this is that part of the race where they really just start settling in, and a lot of it now is they realize they have the opportunity to breathe for a second, and they're going to really try to use that to make sure they're planning out their next couple stops here, because things are trending where it's going to have to be a green flag stop, and all these guys already to the inside of the racetrack, which works out really well for them. And you know, they came down last at lap 43, so they've got a few more laps here before they have to worry about pitting, but just trying to figure out where the optimal time to do it is to get to the end of this race with the fewest amount of seconds spent on pit road is the key.
Riding on board here with the 41 of Trevor Earhart right now in the 9th position, but falling back a little bit. Looks like the outside is reorganized, and the 31 of Jeremiah Nelson getting that push from Kyle Stewart rather. They're getting it going. Looks like back to the top 5 here in just a moment. They've got a big surge of speed as the 27 follows through.
It's a good onboard there with the 47. Trevor Earhart's a guy we know he can get the job done here at Daytona. Multi-time winner of this event a couple seasons ago. He's worked his way up almost to the top 10 here after starting outside the top 20. It's been a quietly good day so far for the 41 as he continues to put himself in position here now in the back half of this event. I would imagine the drivers are going to have to start thinking about coming down pit road anytime in the next 5 to 10 laps or so here, Bradley. Just with the 50% fuel tank means that depending on how much fuel you're burning, you could be seeing anywhere from, you know, say 17, 18 to 22 lap stints. We're already about 12 laps into this one, so curious to see. Is now Nelson going to slide to the inside just in front of Al Likens? Now to the point 31, Jeremiah Nelson, Kyle Stewart right there in the mix as well. Some side drafting going on. Look at that.
Really tight there off of turn 1 into turn 2. 10 car might have made a little contact, got a bad push, but down the backstretch, Jeremiah Nelson led his first lap of the race with the 13 Al Likens, keeping him ahead here into 3 and 4. Looks like that 31 car has been sleeping on us as well.
Yeah, a couple of cars starting to come to life here. Also, we had talked about Kevin Orlando Jr. maybe, I don't know, 8-10 laps ago, talking about how he was in 18th. Well, this guy's up now from the second car on the outside lane. And just a moment ago, they were battling inside at the top 5. They've fallen back just a touch here, but that 27 has really come to life here in the past few laps. As you see now, Dakota Floyd now trying to jump to the high side, looking for some real estate.
He's got that damage, but he has an orange speed teammate on the back end. Will it be enough to get him up front? They get side by side with the 12 of Justice Murphy. Gonna stay right there. I really do believe that that damage is hindering the 57 car. They probably should have surged to the lead within this lap, and he is starting to fall.
I think the big thing is when you're in the draft, you don't really notice it, but out front, this is where things get tricky because you're so much more air reliant when you're actually hitting all of the air versus what's in the draft. The problem now for Dakota Floyd is this is one of those problems at the low. Everyone getting down to the apron, trying to hold on to it. Joe Joya sliding, able to kind of catch it. He's going through the grass. Oh, into the inside retaining barrier goes the 7. He scored out of the racing line, which means I think this is going to stay green, unfortunately for him. Take a look at this. Going into turns 1 and 2, the inside lane gets a little too much of the double yellow, and that's where things really start to fall apart here.
45 able to avoid it. Carter Lenz goes around it as well, and I'm not sure exactly who made contact with the 7 car, but there's the impact with the inside wall.
It was the, I believe it was the 45 or 41 of Trevor Earhart, sorry, who I think got a piece of him right at the, right there.
And he got hit by the 54 of Gilbert. right on board.
That's all led to a big shuffle into the lead group as well that we'll see whenever we return to the live shot in a moment here. One more look at this replay. But yeah, you see now Caleb Gilbert shuffling on back, and while the top like 3 or 4 cars are the same, this pack here is really different because I think they've broken off now into 2 different packs, which has really changed the pit sequence now for this race. You see, yeah, there's the second pack here further back.
Oh, they wrecked
broke
hard.
this pack off. Big wreck into the wall. Oh, man, hard contact.
That'll bring out
Michael
the caution.
Reed, Dakota Floyd, Pennington's in there. Oh, man.
Bennett got a piece of it in the aftermath.
Well, what happened to Joe Choi just a moment ago was out of the racing line. This, though, very much in the racing line. And this is, dare I say, our second big one of the night. Take a look at this. Oh, man, hard impact there for the 30.
'57 of Dakota Floyd, I think. A bad push here. Michael Reed in front of him.
Oh, man. Kyle Stewart caught up in it. One more look at it here, going into turn 1. Yeah, just bad push, bad location. Reed's around, Stewart, Floyd. That's, I believe, also the 30 there, Fred Pennington, that goes around hard into the outside wall. Man. So multiple incidents over the past couple laps here inside the top 10 will officially bring out the yellow for our 4th caution of the night on the record here. And that leaves Jeremiah Nelson up front. And this works out really good for the leaders who did not get caught up in that, because this was just about where the start of that window was going to open. And once they pit here, if they are really conservative with their fuel, you know, if they're able to sit in the draft and not have to go 100% through the air every lap, they would only need to come down pit road, I believe, one more time to make it to the end. So this caution has really fallen in a good place for everyone who was not caught up in that one.
Jeremiah Nelson holding on to the lead with Likens, Orlando, Murphy, and Fike, the top 5. You have your 5-time champion Rob Rader in 6th with Parker Johnston, Carter Lenz, Daniel Holloway, and Ben Lapper, the top 10. Pit stop time. 31 going to lead them in. I would probably take 4 tires on this one.
Yeah, this honestly, you could argue that this might be the last time you truly need to take 4 tires. Because whenever you have that money stop in about 20 laps from now, whatever it takes to spend the least amount of time on pit road, once you have the fuel you need, just go. So this might be the best time to get 4 fresh tires. It looks like Nelson will win the race off pit road. Al Likens going to get out there with him. Fun little parallel between those two. Both running monsters, but the inverted scheme, inverted numbers, 13 and 31.
And I would assume that this time around, Dakota Floyd did not he did not have a check mark, so he's going to try to pull back into his stall and get that damage repaired. So now the check mark here, I don't think he's going to have to come back around this track. It's not going to work, Dakota. You have to go back down pit road to get this to work. He's losing.
Oh, man.
Well, looks like maybe he did.
Well, maybe. Well, he may have knew something we didn't, because to my knowledge, I thought he would have had to take another lap around for that as well.
Guess that was good enough. So a brand new car here. 1 fast repair on this super speedway format. And Dakota Floyd making us look stupid in the booth.
Well, you know, this will not be the first time, nor will it be the last. iRacing has all sorts of fun little intricacies that I learn about every day, and then just as we learn it, they change it to something else. But yeah, fresh car now for Dakota Floyd with that 1 fast repair they're allowed for the super speedways, and was able to trigger that after his initial stop, so he's not going to have to take that lap around. And here we find ourselves under 40 laps to go at this point. And yeah, this is shaping up to what should be, I think, a fun finish. because you can just even over the past, say, 10, 15 laps, you can start to feel the energy in the field shift a little bit from where it was in that opening stage, Bradley. I think they're starting to get a little more aggressive with their pushes, starting to see a lot of cars being a little more willing to pop out, find some fresh air, maybe change lanes. People are starting to really think about where they're at now versus just trying to get to this point.
But you could see it in the number of pass repairs taken in this one as well. When we had our first stage, there was only 2 cars. Now it's up to 7. So you see drivers in the back of this field like Jacob Sirkovich, Kyle Stewart, Matt Robinson has used it, Sam Taylor, Joe Joya has had to use one, Michael Reed, Fred Pennington, Jeremy Burns at the tail end of this field. We haven't mentioned Jeremy Burns at all here tonight, but the 9 car started out front in the outside row, but he has had a connection issue. He's 21 laps down for this event, and so it wasn't until deep into stage 1 that he was able to make it out on this racetrack.
Yeah, and like he'll be able to get a couple of points here, but I think the tough situation right now for Burns is that the field relatively, especially because they all have the opportunity to use one fast repair at these super speedways, everyone who started this race is still in this race, so it's not like he's going to really pass anyone through attrition unless something really goes off here in about the next 15 laps or so. So yeah, it's going to be, I'm sure, a frustrating night when it's said and done for the 9. I have no worries that he'll rebound here over the course of the year if last season was any indication, but definitely not the way you want to kick off your season.
Sometimes for a lot of drivers, Daytona's the asterisk in the season, and then you have the rest of the season to build upon. So you never want to take this as a metric of where these drivers' talent levels are, or necessarily where they finish is going to be the measure of how they perform. I think right now we could see a toss-up. We could see a first-time winner here at Daytona. And we go into the restart zone on lap 64 underway. Jeremiah Nelson gets out to a big jump. Likens dives down in front, and it's Kevin Orlando stuck on the outside all alone.
Here they go in the 1. Lynn's now working up to the back bumper of the 27. But already the outside lane's lost a couple of spots here to the lead. Nelson and Likens dialed in down the back straightaway. They've got the top spots. We jump on board here with the 66. A little bit of a push. Is Holloway going to jump in front of them both? He's going to now try to lead the outside lane into 3.
There's a look on board with the 66 of Carter Lenz. Another one of those drivers that has top 4 playoff berth and definitely made it deep into the season last year. Has a few victories under his belt as well. Big checkup on the inside.
Yeah, that halted a ton of momentum. The outside lane going to go right on by, just flooring past the leaders right now. So John Fike up there now trying to lead this front lane. But there's a lot of cars who just slid on by. Holloway's up there. Orlando's now with the lead. The outside lane just pouring it on. Nelson and Likens had the lead a moment ago. They're barely hanging into the top 10 still right now.
And there it looks, Rob Raeder to the bottom. Orlando dives to the inside. Raeder still wants to lead a lap. He's going to get sideways, and we're going to have another one.
Spinning through the grass, the yellow's out. A huge wreck through the tri-oval. And that got really messy off of 4. Raeder made a move. Orlando made a block. Raeder tried making a second move, and Carter Lenz was right where he tried going.
You can't even
and
see down the front
that just took out
stretch.
about half the field from it. Yeah. Caleb Gilbert, Justice Murphy, end to end. And take a look at this. Raeder tried working up the hill. Orlando was there. Raeder tried working a little further up the hill, and Carter Lenz was right there. And oh, man. Just calamity going through the tri-oval. There's got to be at least 15 cars more that got caught up in that. Oh, boy, look at this. One of the really few good times for a camera this far zoomed out because of just how much has happened in this wreck.
That was from 5th place back. We got other cameras here, I promise.
Yeah. Well, here, so watch the 53. Oh, well, maybe not from this angle, but you see as they all come across the line here, how quickly this deteriorates. Smoke and sparks going everywhere. But yeah, right here. It's the second move up where it cags the 66 just a little bit.
And if you're Carter Lenz, there's nowhere for you to go. And I didn't really see anyone that snuck through that. Maybe the 87.
Someone had to get all the way up to the wall or way down into the infield to make it work. We'll jump on board here with Pamitat in the 87, who's just behind this. See how quickly this unfolds in front of him.
No, he didn't get through it either.
No, he did not.
13 of Likens,
Got through it a
maybe?
lot more unseen. Likens, yes, slid through a little bit. It's about 5th on the inside here.
Nah, he got a piece of it as well.
A little bit of contact.
Man, I'm trying to find a car that didn't get hit there from 5th on back, and I'm having troubles.
This is the nature of super speedway racing. It can be fun, it can be exciting, it can also wipe out 2/3 of the field simultaneously. Big stop here for a lot of drivers, I'm sure, are going to try to patch up some damage. Looks like Kevin Orlando Jr. going to be the first one off pit road here. Munoz in second, and I could not quite tell who was third. I want to say that's Christopher Schaefer who was the third car off.
It was a collegiate race tonight, and that's why Jeremy Burns was late to the show here this evening. Contractually obligated there. Obligated is the word I was about to make up. We're going to go with
You might be that
obligated.
too, who knows?
Yeah. We're going to go with that.
Yeah. Well, either way, I mean, it's been a whirlwind out here tonight. Just when we feel like things have settled in a little bit, the energy picks up, and then all of a sudden, we've got Rex taking up 30-plus cars through the field here. Very reminiscent of Allgaier and his incident from the front of the field on Sunday. See the race recap up on your screen. 5 cautions, 15 lead changes to this point. Nick Alves, your pole sitter, also your stage 1 winner. He's led 13 laps here today and still very much in the mix here as this thing goes with just over 30 laps to go. In the top 10 as things sit. Big shuffle up at the front of the field after that incident.
And it's Dylan Picklesheimer going to lead them into turn 1. Let's say we find the driver of the number 33 for this one.
We can certainly bring him in. Let me see if I can corral him here.
Oh, you see
I'm also trying to figure out if he's taking. I also don't actually. Well, we could always bring in a few takers here at the end of pit road. Could always bring in someone else who's running up toward the front here and bring in the 27 potentially.
Yeah.
Here, let me drag him in.
Kevin Chaos
Hello?
Orlando. It's Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going?
Well, you're going to be starting here on the inside. Calamity behind you. And then I know not necessarily your doing there. A late move from the 53, and the entire field disappeared out of your mirror.
That I can see. I mean, we got Nick on the outside line. I wouldn't mind if he was behind me, but I really don't know what to expect out of Ryan here. You know, we'll see what we got, and we still got a pit stop here before the end of this thing. So we're just gonna play it by ear and try to keep the car clean and be in it at the end.
Well, Kevin, I don't need to remind you. I'm sure it replays in your head every single week. Don't change lanes before the start-finish line.
I've been telling myself that the entire time since I've taken the lane. the front row here. It's been in my head. I definitely don't need a reminder, but thank you anyway.
No problem, Kevin. Hey, good luck out there. Anybody want to shout out real quick while we go into 3?
I cannot think about it right now, so I'll hopefully get to you with it after the race.
All right, here's
Alrighty.
Kevin Orlando going to restart on the inside. He has the 33 of Dylan Picklesheimer on the outside. But, yeah, I mean, put him on the spot there. Part of the admin team, though, you'd think he'd have it like on a sticky note up there on the monitor or something.
Yeah, really. Well, to his point, maybe we'll get the opportunity to bug him about it after the fact here once this one's said and done and hear from him. But here we go. Dylan Picklesheimer, Kevin Orlando Jr., your front row as they take lap 70 right now.
Back underway, Picklesheimer with a good launch. We'll stay to the outside, the 23, not able to get connected. Looks like that 81 car in the inside line might get it going. Let's see if Kevin Orlando decides to move up. He's not clear yet. He'll give a shove to the 33. Here we go.
As they make their way down the backstretch, Picklesheimer's got an Orlando glued to the back bumper. Munoz glued to the back bumper of him. That's the one thing you got to be careful about, though, with these draft packs is that if everyone's bump drafting each other, if they're pushing in slightly different locations, the odds of a car spinning out exponentially get higher. If someone's pushing on, like, your left rear, but then you're pushing on someone's, like, right rear, it's just kind of can openers if you're not careful. So Picklesheimer's got the edge. Also, a little bit of blinking up there. I want to say that's Christopher Schaefer who's having maybe a touch of connectivity issues here in the one.
Little touch of blink there. The 27's going to move to the outside. Here's the move for the lead coming off of turn 4. 81 can't get it going. And now it's Schaefer who's got the job of pushing the lead.
So Orlando's got it. Schaefer diving to the inside. He wants to be able to say he's led a lap here at Daytona tonight. Orlando's going to try to get down to a little bit of side draft, and here comes Picklesheimer right to the back bumper off of 4. Business starting to pick up a little bit here at the front of the field as they almost make contact at the stripe.
It's tamed down a little bit here compared to what we saw a moment ago, but under 30 laps left at Daytona. 28 to be exact. 29 if you want to get technical. This 2.5 mile oval, a lot can happen around it. You're seeing the 88 for the first time today on the outside. Circovich moving up to the top 10. Jeremiah Nelson, who led some laps early in this race, to the inside. A big surge here on the bottom line.
Yeah, the inside lane starting to get a little bit of forward progress here. The outside falling back. See Robinson, I think that was, who made a slide there just at the end of the top 10 from high to low. Still ripped their way in the turn 1. Orlando's got that high side. You know the 27's fast, but surprised to see the outside lane back as quick as they are here with how competitive they were in the early going.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of just partners and different drivers working with each other as they... Looks like the 27 dropped down in front of Carter Lenz there around the 10th position, so trying to stop the hemorrhaging. But it also was mentioned there from Kevin Orlando that we have one more pit stop, and some of these guys might be thinking about taking it as early as possible, getting on and off pit road. As you see, the 27 goes back out. I think he got shuffled out of the way. He's going to lose even more spots here.
Yeah, that's not ideal as they continue to fall back. Everyone working their way to the inside, trying to be in position for this pit stop. And this is the battle. This is the question that these crew chiefs are going to have, Bradley, as we make our way to the money stop here in the next couple of laps. Is the earlier you come down pit road, the earlier you're able to get off pit road, and then you're just on the track for the rest of the night, which is great. However, if you have to pit at the early part of the window, you have to spend the most time possible fueling up the car on pit road. If you stretch it a little bit later, you can fuel up the car a little bit less so to get to the end. Might save yourself a couple seconds on pit road. it really becomes a big question mark on how do you leverage time on pit road versus the track position. And there's no correct answer. It's just going to be whatever one plays out to the field's advantage here. But every time it's a little bit different. So I'm sure there's a lot of different philosophies in the field here. But it all starts with getting to the inside in the next couple of laps. I would argue that the fuel window probably opens at its absolute earliest in about 3 to 4 laps here. To my knowledge of what this fuel window is at 50% fuel. So keep an eye on the next couple laps here. We might see some takers, but realistically, I got to imagine they're going to comfortably hit lap 80 to know that they're good for the rest of the event, no problem. Especially if there's like an overtime restart.
And the question was asked here in the chat. That's the damaged machine of Tyler Harrison, who's going to try to drop down into this draft. First lap lost, but he is the lucky pass position if he can get a caution here before the end of this one. And he really needs it. He needs to repair that damage. That car has a lot of left front damage. He lost the draft on the restart. He's going to try to stay ahead of Michael Reed in the 91, who also has damage, but Michael Reed is about 5 seconds back from this group.
You see this like little bit of a separate pack that is formed here.
Grant Thorpe leading it there, and yeah, the damaged cars in this group, but big time, Alex.
Yeah. Right now, they're just trying to hope for a caution to come out here. And, I mean, the potential's always there at Daytona, both for green flag pit stops. You never know what's going to happen. But then also, I mean, with the way guys are racing, that's only going to amplify in the next 20 laps or so. So things could get crazy, but that's really their only hope of getting back into this race at this point. As Picklesheimer dives down to take the lead. Barely had enough room to get in front of Schaefer, but made it work. And now the 33 back to the front. Trying to work his way back to the front here. You got Munoz just behind them. John Fike now trying to lead the outside lane. A lot of cars still on the outside, so I got to imagine they must be thinking they might stretch it a little bit later here before they have to come down pit road. So I would argue there is a hypothetical chance, Bradley, if we do not have to worry about overtime at all, that this time by could be the earliest they could come down pit road on a full tank, but then they would need to really save to make it to the end, you know, really hang in the draft the whole time. But this is about the earliest the window would open.
I was curious what sitdownmarks.com was. I had to look it up. I mean, it could have been
My
anything.
guess is going to be something wrestling related.
Well, yeah, you looked it up too. That's
no, I didn't actually. That's just I've heard the phrase.
I had no idea what it was. No idea.
Yeah.
It's a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I just assumed it was something wrestling. I did not know it was a show.
Well, there you
Very
go.
fun.
There's the front end, the sponsor here for the 33 at the top spot with Christopher Schaefer. And that late move down to the bottom, it shuffled these cars around a little bit. But we're approaching 20 to go. I think now's the window, that halfway. Lap 82, I think, is probably the mark for these cars.
Yeah, it's really any time from this time through, say, the next several laps, you probably will start seeing some ideas of people. But the other thing is you got to make sure you come down with a few friends. You know, you got to make sure there's at least about 4 cars who all come down pit road at the same time. So you have that little bit of draft to work with and get back on the racetrack. If you pit by yourself, you may as well kiss the Daytona 250 title goodbye here, because that is just not a thing that's going to happen if you do not have any draft support getting back up to speed.
To the outside of the damage machine of Tyler Harrison, it's been Laughter that we haven't had it on board with him yet today. But there it is. And Laughter holding it on the outside just behind Joe Joya. Remember, Joya was involved in something earlier in this race, but Ben Laughter has avoided a lot of the calamity here today. And it shows. He hasn't had to burn his fast repair yet.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on is these drivers who still have a fast repair to work with and who doesn't. Obviously, we'll try to keep you updated on that if stuff should come up, but Definitely important to note that the 64 does have his fast repair still should something happen. As you see, there's a lot of cars starting to bounce between lanes right now, shuffling for position now. 20 laps to go on this lap. So we are nearing the end of this thing. It's coming down to the last 50 miles now.
Aboard again with Kevin Orlando, creeping his way back up towards the top 10, up to 12th position. He'll go by the outside of Jeremiah Nelson. 54 of Caleb Gilbert on the high line. Hicklesheimer still leading. John Fike, Rob Rader back and forth. Rader, one of those cars involved that did have to burn the fast repair. But the 53 doing a fantastic job. Actually, for Rob Rader, he still has one in the bank. It was John Fike that actually burned it earlier in this race. And then there's Dakota Floyd, who I thought was going to be out of this event. He had burned his as well. He got involved in a big one, and the second big one, he got hit in the back of the field. So for this 57 car to be where it is, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's trying to make it worth using that fast repair earlier right now. Obviously, that car was really beat up when he had to use it. But now finds himself in the top 3. Obviously, if something else were to happen, he has no way really to repair it at this point. But while that car is still in one piece and still in good shape, he's going to give it all it's worth, I'm sure. Trying to hunt down that lead from Hicklesheimer and Fike right now. Got Schaefer, Munoz, Nelson behind him in this top group. Don't get side by side until you get back to Bennett there, battling with Caleb Gilbert for 8th.
That's Gilbert in the 14 on the outside. Has the Busch Light number 7 giving the shove out of 3 and 4. Can't quite get it going. Ben Laughter stuck up there. There's Justin Ritchie in the 55 as well. This is all around mid-pack, but we're starting to single file out to the inside line. That tells me pit stops are coming.
Yeah, certainly seems like it. Looks like a lot of the field has elected to try to run this stage a little bit longer than they'd have to, so that they spend a few less seconds on pit road fueling up, try to make their stop as quick as possible. I do not think that's a bad idea in the slightest. I think that's a pretty sound strategy. But it seems like that's the move for basically everybody here. So we'll see how that cycles out, because I'd imagine when we see folks coming down pit road, it's going to be big packs of cars. That could be really dangerous, as here come the leaders.
John Fike coming down pit road alongside the 33 of Hicklesheimer, the 81 in as well. Last round of pit stops here for the 250-mile race. KLD Trucking putting on this event. Dakota Floyd back to the top spot with Jeremiah Nelson.
So we saw about the first 6 or 7 cars make their way down pit road. Got to imagine we'll see another big swatch of them come down here. And that probably will be the case over the next couple laps. Everyone knows this is the time to make your move to come down pit road. You also see the pit timers there on your left. Hicklesheimer, who was leading a good chunk of that, 8.8 compared to the rest of those in the 6s and 7s. That was to how much extra fuel he burned compared to those guys who came down pit road with him. Not a lot of takers that time. Looks to be okay. Some more takers in the back. Not a lot of groups. Not a lot of cars from the front, but overall, about 8 or 9 cars pitting here on lap 86.
You have Call, Murphy, Robinson, Linz, Holloway, Earhart, and Keith down pit road for this one. Probably going to be a fuel only stop, but a few of these cars took fuel only. Likens, and I want to say it was the 33 of Hicklesheimer. So he's on fuel only twice here. Those tires have got to be starting to get stressed a little bit. I know when you do 50% fuel, the tire wear stays the same. At least that's how they have it set up here tonight. So I think that he's going to be okay, but that car might be a handful by the end of this race.
Certainly might be. So no one from the main pack coming down pit road this time. Imagine we'll see them starting to catch up with some of these cars who had just gotten off of pit road. Or at least we'll see that difference. It's probably going to be about half a straightaway or so. Ben Laughter now to the front. He got a good push there from Justin Ritchie. And they'll slide their way down to the inside. They'll take over the top spot. And everyone really not named Al Likens, or I want to say that is...
It's the 30.
I can't tell. Oh, that's Pennington in the 30, who I do not know if he's on the lead lap. He's actually 2 laps down, but they were the only cars still on the outside. Everyone else to the inside. Looks like a couple more takers for pit road that time by. So
That was that
green
second
flags,
group.
stops, continue the cycle.
And navigating some lap traffic here through 1 and 2. 96 machine stuck down there on the inside as Rob Roeder begins service on his machine. 7.9 in the box there for the 53.
Yeah, 6.8 there for Jet. Quick stop. 6.2 for Caleb Gilbert. So we're seeing about a 2-second spread across the board for the most part, except for Sam Taylor, who took a 4-tire stop. That's going to probably sink his chances. Here comes basically the rest of the field here. Laughter, Richie, and the rest all down pit road on lap 88. And once this pit stop concludes, I think we're going to have a really good idea of who's going to be in position to win this thing.
Ben Laughter missed the
pit cycle.
stall. 64 missed his stall by about a 2-3 foot margin there. Had to back it up. He's going to get 6.8 in the box.
He's lucky he had a really quick stop. It's going to keep him at least in the pack here, but he's going to lose that top spot as there's 3 wide in front of him. Nelson, Richie, Floyd all getting onto the throttle here. And where will they cycle out compared to the rest of the group? Here comes Fike and Roeder coming up through the tri-oval.
John Fike probably going to take over the lead here. It's a lot of momentum.
I don't know. He's got a lot of cars to work through. Orlando nearly merged into him coming off of pit road. Does someone get dangerous and try to throw a block here to halt the momentum? Doesn't seem like it as they're 3 wide for the lead.
That momentum swing there on the outside. Fike's going to drop down. 19 of Berube cannot dive down. He'll have to stay pinned there 3 wide for a moment. 31 continues the 3 wide with the Candyman in the middle in the 21.
Yeah, the 3 lanes in effect here next time by. It's 10 laps to go. Everybody topped off on fuel. John Fike leading the inside. Don Picklesheimer leading the outside. It's all going to come down to this. Looks like Harrison going to slide in there behind Holloway, give him a little bit of help there in the middle. As Forget, Rube, and Munoz both bashing on the back bumpers here, shoving the 65 forward, trying to get him in front of Picklesheimer.
A few cars a lap down. Tyler Harrison still the free pass position if he gets it. Michael Reed even further back. Fred Pennington 2 laps down. Sam Taylor 2 laps down. And Jeremy Burns with a late entry there in the Collegiate iRacing Esports. Late entry to this race as we see 3 wide for the lead again. That's Rob Roeder up by himself trying to take the lead.
And nobody went with the reigning champ, and I'm sure he's not thrilled about it, but the rest of the field said, all right, you made your move too early, see ya. So Roeder eventually will get linked up here with Panic Tap, but way outside the top 10. We jump on board here, Matt Robinson. 3rd car on the outside. On board here, he looks a little more focused, a little more dialed in than when we caught up with him at the start of the race, eh, Bradley?
Yeah, he was back in like 28th position, I think. It was 38th, something like that, way back at the tail end of this field, hanging out with Trevor Keith and a few others. So he's really came to life here in these closing laps. 6th position has a push on Michael Call. Cannot get it going here off of 2, though. Man, there must be
one thing that
an anchor in that 5 car. They lost a ton of ground.
Yeah, one thing to note about Matt Robinson, this is the reigning Daytona summer race winner. He also won here in Season 5. So he knows what it takes to win in these sort of dramatic moments. It was a late move from him at that race that got him the win. Trying to see if he can replicate that magic here tonight in the season opener for Season 6. But right now, that inside lane looking solid. Fike, Picklesheimer, Munoz, your top 3. They are all single file before you get the Forget and Nelson. 5 cautions, 24 lead changes, and that number still might go even higher before this one's said and done.
81 Munoz on the outside. Now he's back to the inside. He was peeking out there on the 33, maybe setting things up. With 24 lead changes here today, I think we're going to see at least 2 or 3 more before the end of this one.
Yeah, I'd have to think so. So you see Forget now has moved up to the high side. Curious to see if anyone else tries to get up there with him. Right now, Fike is in control of this race from the inside, but with how open the outside is right now, that is a very temporary alliance I think he's got with the 33 and the 81 right now. If that outside lane doesn't catch up there in the next couple laps, got to imagine one of them are just going to think about becoming the new leader of that outside lane before long. You see the inside now. There it is. Justin Ritchie going to try to take a peek out here. He's going to try to lead this outside group. So we have a third line forming here into 3.
He saw the opportunity to the outside, so the 55 is going to trap down on his teammate, though, in the 64. But a big surge of speed as Alex Forget gives a shove to Justin Ritchie into the tri-oval. 6 laps to go from Daytona.
Things really picking up now. The push is getting even more drastic. You see the cars bouncing around right now because none of these pushes are hitting as cleanly as they were earlier because they're so much more forceful. Giving the drivers up front everything they can handle at the moment, and then some as Forget gets really out of sorts there for a second. Holds on to it, but that opens the door for Laughter to jump up in front, and now he's going to try to lead this second lane.
A lot of pushing up here on the outside to get it going. 64 gets back clear of his teammate. They're going to surge to the outside with 5 laps to
Look at
go.
the run.
Ben Laughter is going to take over the lead into turn 1.
The rate we're going here, what a run on the outside. Gets dead even with Fike into the corner. Picklesheimer shoving Fike, Ritchie shoving Laughter. Oh, big time out of sorts there, just moved him out of the way basically. Justin Ritchie now going to lead this middle lane. The 64's got no one out there with him. That's the tough part this late in the race. When you start pushing in the corners, especially on the outside, that can happen. Ben Laughter, no one out there to try to help him out with the draft. He's going to cycle all the way to the end of this thing, and is just going to try to have the rally back and what time's left.
He can come back. He absolutely can come back. He needs to get down behind somebody and find that third lane. But he absolutely has a chance. He needs to get the draft here. Get up behind that 41 car as we come up to 4 to go. And it's the 33 of Picklesheimer giving the shove, keeping that 65 up front. John Fike looking to get a victory here in the season opener. Season 6 will come to 3.5 laps left here at Daytona. And I tell you what, anybody in this top 5 can win this race. Anybody in the top 10 could have it. We could see Calamity strike one more time here as we've went green for about 30 laps.
Yeah, and you can tell things are starting to get a little more hectic. And right now, 4th, 5th, and 6th is really something that's catching my eye. Oh, the 5 into the wall. I think that's Call. Broadcaster curse strikes again. Michael Call into the wall off of 4. And that is going to set up Chapman Cup overtime. Oh, man.
They pushed on wrong here with the 12. They were trying to get a third line going. Contact with Gilbert. And a very low camera angle there. If we can get a better look at it. Here's the shove, the shot into 3 and 4, and there's where it goes wrong.
And it was just what we were talking about a moment ago. When you're on those outside lanes, trying to push in the corner is what you need to do to have a chance here late in these races. But that is not only the most unstable part of the racetrack to push, but the most unstable lane on the most unstable part of the racetrack to push. You gain a lot of speed if you can make it work, but a lot of times it can also end up like that. And around goes the 5. And that's a huge break for those cars who are not a part of this main draft. It's going to bring a lot more cars into the mix here, maybe a little too far back to go for the win, but certainly in the mix to try to get into those top 10, top 5 spots, which is going to put everybody in a really, really dangerous spot here, I think, on this restart, because nothing is safe at the moment.
So going through your top 10 with John Fike, Dylan Picklesheimer, Ryan Minaz. You also have Al Likens, Dakota Floyd in 5th position, Justin Ritchie, your pole sitter Nick Alves, Alex Forget Berube, Michael Bennett, Jeremiah Nelson, the top 10. Some recovery races, and you're going to see a free pass position here, I believe, with the 45 of Tyler Harrison.
There is the free pass. This is one of those moments where, you know, where you restart, you know, inside or outside is going to have huge ramifications on your strategy here. If you're on the outside, it gives you a lot of opportunities to try to, you know, jump out to a third lane, try to be really dynamic in your passing opportunities to make something happen. If you're on the inside, it is just head down, bull rush forward until you make a hole for yourself, and then you find out what you can do from there. Very different approaches to both, and I think this is going to get really crazy.
Everybody's been asking the question what's going on with him, so he's going to come down pit road and try to repair as much of this damage as possible. The 45 down into pit lane. He's going to need probably one more green-white checker to have a chance here to get that damage repaired, but he will get a little bit of it fixed. These cars already going into 3 and 4, and it happens faster. You get that free pass position, that's kind of the blessing if you're a lap down, but if you have a lot of damage, you don't have the time, Alex, to get that car fixed.
No, not really. You'd think you would with pacing speed being so different, but by the time you get actually into your pit box, you have probably about 20, 30 seconds tops to make something happen before the pace car is back on top of you. Then you got to launch back out there. So you see the 45 back on track now, just as the pace car was coming through 4. We'll see how much of that damage he got repaired. We'll see if
Maybe
he decides to come back down pit.
Might have been a free repair on the 45.
That would have been really advantageous for him if that's the case. You know, he'll be restarting way back in the field, but we've seen some crazy stuff happen here at Daytona over the years. You never know what's going to be waiting in store here.
We double back up. Watching John Fike lead a lot of these laps, and Alex, you could probably attest to this. I know we both have a lot of track time here at Daytona. If you're second place on back, you're seeing how many laps John Fike just led in the closing instance of this race, and now we're into overtime. You're going to do everything you can to make sure you get around that 65 car.
Oh, 100%. The other thing I would be taking note of is that the 3 cars that were really dialed into the inside there were him, Picklesheimer, and Munoz. Picklesheimer now on the outside, and we've seen him multiple times tonight try to drop into that lead spot. I have no doubt that'll be the move for him again. However, how much is the 81 then going to be able to work with the 65, since the 33 was his main pusher on that last run before this? Now the adversary on the outside, as it were. And if something were to happen there, Al Likens and Dakota Floyd directly behind them in 4th and 5th. Both of those guys have led a ton of laps here tonight. You got Nick Alves, the pole sitter, and the stage winner just behind them. I mean, like, there's a lot of guys licking their lips right now, I'm sure, thinking, like, if just one thing happens in front of me, I'm in a great place to try to capitalize on it. And then, you know, not too much further back, you see Trevor Earhart there, Kevin Orlando, guys who have led laps tonight, who have won this race before. I mean, this is going to get crazy, but it all comes down to how good of a launch here is John Fike going to get. This is going to really dictate how this overtime shootout's going to look.
Overtime attempt number 1. We have 2 green-white checkered attempts here as we hit the restart zone with John Fike back underway for what could be the last one of the night. 2 laps to decide it. 5 miles left at Daytona in the season opener.
They're going to try to take the white flag. If a wreck comes out before that, they'll have to re-rack it, but if they get to the white flag, it'll be the next lap or the next flag that ends the race. Dead heat off of turn 2. Good momentum on the outside. 3 lanes now forming. That's Forget trying to jump topside. Picklesheimer's got the edge into 3 here.
Oh, we got problems in the back. Kevin Orlando is
spinning.
sideways. Caution's out. Attempt number 2 coming up.
Justice Murphy around as well. And the yellow is out, just as Al Likens and Dylan Picklesheimer were getting up there. So we'll see how this sorts itself back out. Tough break there for the 27. Just let a couple laps here tonight. Trevor Keith, Kyle Stewart caught up in there as well.
Murphy also in the 12. See if we can get a different angle at this. Yeah, it's just contact there. The 10 car was to the inside. 27 tried to go below that 3rd lane. What happened to the 12 here? How did he get involved in this?
Cars getting, trying to get out of the way, all kind of collected each other. On board here with Justice Murphy going into 3. Yeah, ran out of room with Parker Johnston diving down to avoid the initial incident. Well, we're going to get one more crack at it here, Bradley. One more overtime attempt to try to settle it. New front row, though. Instead of Picklesheimer and Fike, it'll be Picklesheimer and Likens. And I know we've talked about it a couple times tonight, but like we've got some fast cars in this top 5, but that 13 at times tonight has looked like the car. I'm so curious to see what kind of launch he'll get opposite the 33, with the 33 being the control car.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Al Likens has the goods to win this race. It's just a matter of decision making. That's really what dictates these races. It's not about raw speed. It's when do you make the choice to pass. Sometimes you make it too early, sometimes you make it too late, and then you come to the line, you're a couple hundredths short, or a couple thousandths even, that we've witnessed here on Vspeed. And you have to be mindful, if I move up and make this move, is anybody going to go with me? And so he's going to be stuck on the outside here unless Picklesheimer decides to choose the outside. I like the 13's chances, but you can't count any of these guys out. Dylan Picklesheimer has been known to throw some blocks here, and he's going to have to make that car 3 lanes wide. John Fike fell back to 4th. He led a lot of the closing laps of this race. He's got an opportunity to get his win here tonight. And then you have Justin Ritchie in the 3rd position. But we're not just talking about the top 5 here, Alex. Anybody. I've seen drivers come from 10th place and win these races, and that would go with their 5-time champion, Rob Roeder.
Yeah, I mean, it really is anybody's bet how this is going to play out. And one thing that's important to note, you're talking about these split-second decisions and how they can impact a win or a loss. When we came to Daytona in the summer last year, Matt Robinson won that race by only 0.07 of a second over Dakota Floyd. When we ran this Daytona 250 back in the spring, that race, Nick Alves won by 0.06 of a second over Kyle Diaz. I mean, we're talking like fractions, like you blink your eyes, it takes longer than some of the gaps that we see at Daytona. And that is all of the little decisions you make leading up to this restart, on the restart. When do you make your move? Who do you work with? It really all comes down to those little moments, and you have to string them all together right here, right now, to find yourself in victory lane. And even just one of those, hundredths of little micro decisions you're going to make in the next 2 minutes here could be the make or break point to finding yourself in victory lane to kick off season 6.
I'd like to remind you to hit that subscribe button here. If you're enjoying tonight's action, you'll never miss a single race. We have all 36 races of this season coming through. Alex Gagnon and Bradley Cooper in the broadcast booth. Camera packs provided by Dougie Beard, Dylan Picklesheimer, and Al Likens on the front row. On Fike, Justin Ritchie for row number 2. Who's going to take it here? Will we make it back around for the white flag? Free pass position goes to the 91 of Michael Reed. He's back on the lead lap. The 45 of Tyler Harrison was a lap down a moment ago, back up to 26. These drivers deep in this field, but still have a chance to get a top 10 here tonight. And honestly, if I was going to take a guess, if I was going to take a pick, I've been watching all night long. I really like the 11 of Matt Robinson here if it's not Al Likens. So take that for what it is, but I really like Matt Robinson's chances in the 11.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fast cars. We also have a couple of names who we have not really seen a ton in this league before in row 3, Munoz and Nelson. And, curious to see, do they stamp their name in the old Chapman Cup Series record books here tonight with a win here in the season opener? So much that we could keep, talking about, but ultimately it's really going to come down to, in just a moment here, they're going to restart for the final time here tonight, and they're going to let it all hang out to see who's going to walk away with the first checkered of the season.
His car is going to pull off. This is the guaranteed final time today. Picklesheimer going to hit the loud pedal. Can we make it back around this 2.5 mile oval for the white flag? 2 to go at the stripe. Daytona season opener for its final laps. 5 miles to go.
Picklesheimer immediately dropped to the bottom, back to the high side. He's immediately on the defensive here, trying to play both lanes into turn 1.
And you're going to have to defend, but look at John Fike getting back up front. Look at where he put himself. Usually want to be the second car in line for the white flag. Likens drives to the outside. Picklesheimer puts the block on him. It's going to open up the door for Fike in the 65 into 3 and 4.
Yeah, and he's to the inside here. Picklesheimer couldn't hold them both off. Here goes Fike to the inside. Side draft from that outside. No room for error here. Off of turn 4. Things are looking
very
pretty
dicey.
Okay at the moment. Here they come to the white flag. Well,
We're
3
go
wide for third.
4 wide. We got the white
it's 4
flag.
wide now. They're wrecking.
And it's going to come down to 3 cars as they have a big crash down the front stretch.
Oh my goodness, that's the entire field outside of these 4. Picklesheimer, Likens, Fike, Robinson. One of these 4 going to take it down the back straightaway.
One more time around. This is it. As they dice back and forth, Likens gets the door open. Fike's going to give the shove. There's Matt Robinson. I talked about it. He has a real shot at winning it.
Fike looks high. Back to the inside. It's going to come down to a drag race off of 4.
And Dylan Picklesheimer is going to claim victory here tonight with a big push and a big shove. The field disappears behind him, and the 33 is going to win Daytona.
Wow, what a finish. Shaping up for chaos, and chaos we got as the entire field basically evaporated behind the race leaders. And it came down to a 4-car shootout in the last half a lap. And from there, everyone, wanted to be the guy to try to make the move to get around the 33. But because everyone was trying to be that guy, no one had the run to make it happen. And the 33 holds on for a dramatic victory here in the season opener. What a great start to the season here for Dylan Picklesheimer.
Sitdownmarks.com on the 33. He's going to come back around for his celebration in the season opener. Congratulations to the driver of the 33. It was 250 miles to get this far, and he'll start the season off right.
Also, I think fun to note, I didn't even realize this until just now, but when we were here in the summer, Dylan Picklesheimer was on the podium with a 3rd place finish. Gets to do 2 spots better here tonight. Picks up the victory in the season opener. He's starting to really cement himself as one of the good plate racers here in the Chapman Cup Series.
Need to go back and look at that incident there on the white flag.
Yeah, really.
This is after the fact, actually. Let's go back even further.
Yeah, this is... Here we go. Oh, this is what we're looking for, I think. I mean, you can just see, even in the corner, how hard these guys are pushing here.
Carter Lenz, I think, knew something was going to happen. He dropped all the way down off the racetrack. He might have been running out of fuel, to be honest. I think Lenz ran out of fuel.
Yeah, what happened here for this wreck is where they go 4 wide through the tri-oval. This is where things really fell apart. I think it was Munoz who got shuffled all the way up to the wall, and then they just all ran out of space. And we'll take another look at it here. It's this 4 wide battle here. The 81 gets shuffled all the way up to the top. Got Richie in the middle, and then it's Floyd trying to open the door here as the 81 was trying to close it. And I mean, they just go sideways right into the entrance of the corner. I mean, there's just nowhere you can go. Just a mountain of smoke and debris out there now.
Here's the closing laps with the leaders, the 33, the 65. I thought for sure that the 65 was going to stay connected to the 33 and push him all the way around, but he actually tried a couple different moves.
Yeah, I thought what he was going to try to do is this move here coming off of the corner. But I think I wonder if he had killed a little bit of his momentum on that initial maybe sort of popping out in the middle of 3 and 4. Ultimately, though, I'm sure something that they'll look back on and try to figure out, what happened, what they could have done differently. Unless your name is Dylan Picklesheimer, then you know exactly what you did. And I'm sure you're feeling pretty happy about it as he picks up the win here. John Fike wrapping us in the 2nd position. I'm sure we'll try to get a word with him. Al Likens will be 3rd here tonight. We'll also try to get a word with him before long.
Don't go anywhere. We have post-race coverage, your final race results, and your top 3 interviews. We'll have to pull Dylan Picklesheimer. It's been a moment here. He's not in the Discord currently, so we'll try to get him. Gave him some time, but looks like he's not here. So we're going to take a quick commercial break while we round these drivers up. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series live on Vspeed. More coverage for the KLD Trucking 250 in just a moment.
Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Back here at the World Center of Racing. 250 miles has been concluded here this evening, and it is Dylan Picklesheimer with the victory. You got to go to John Fike and Al Likens for the top three. Here's your race results and recap. 7 cautions and 25 lead changes. Apparently 100 laps wasn't enough. We went well over 250 miles. I think we got to tack it on to 260 miles here this evening. But there it is for the top 5, all the way down with Michael Robinson, Michael Call in the 5 car. Hayden James gaining 31 positions, as you mentioned there, but John Fike, the biggest mover of the race. Alex Forget Berube, and a big wreck there on the white flag. A lot of cars taken out, and a lot of new names up here in the top 10 with Joe Joya, Parker Johnston, Christopher Schaefer getting 10th spot.
Yeah, looking back to 11th there, it'll be Justice Murphy. Everywhere in here is going to get a little shuffled up of just how they got sorted out through that massive wreck on the white flag lap. So Kyle Stewart will bring it home 12th, Rob Rader finishing 13th, Grant Thorpe up 20 spots to finish 14th here tonight. Dakota Floyd will finish in 15th. Grant Turner in the 16th position, just ahead of Ryan Munoz. Nick Alves, the pole sitter and the stage winner, will finish 18th ahead of Ben Laughter, and Carter Linz will round out the top 20.
21st position going to Justin Ritchie, and then you have Caleb Gilbert in 22nd. 23rd with Jeremiah Nelson. Jacob Sirkovich will finish 24th. Daniel Holloway 25th. Trevor Keith 26th from 31st. Michael Bennett, the big talk here, falls all the way back to 27th after starting in the top 3. Trevor Earhart was in the top 10 a lot here tonight. He'll finish 28th. Kevin Orlando Jr. wasn't a lane change. It was a big incident. 27 cars going to finish 29th. And then you have the 44 car of Malcolm Simpson rounding out 30th.
Looking at the rest of the field here, Michael Reed will finish 31st. Brandon Richardson 32nd and 33rd will be Tyler Harrison. Brendan Pamitat will finish in the 34th spot. Fred Pennington 35th, with Sam Taylor and Jeremy Burns rounding out your 37 car field here tonight.
No waiver rounds there for the 9 of Jeremy Burns. He ends up falling out of this field 21 laps down. So a tough break and a tough start, but I'm sure collegiate iRacing a lot more fun. Daytona put on a great show, and we have our top 3 to talk to. We finally rounded up the 33 of Dylan Picklesheimer, and here we are for post-race coverage. Your race winner, able to go from 17 laps led, started in 21st here this evening. He's going to be the top finisher in the season opener. Congratulations, Dylan Picklesheimer.
Yes, sir, boys. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. Ever since I started this league, I was like, I don't think I'll ever win. But somehow we pulled it through tonight and got the win. I want to thank John Fike and Al, because without their help tonight, I don't think I would have got this done. So I definitely want to shout them out. John Fike and Al Likens.
Up front for a lot of this here tonight, and you put your car in a better situation in the second half of the race. And to start this thing out, it was a long climb. There was green flag pit stops. There was really a variety of every scenario you could be in here at Daytona. And the flip of the strategy, you went out and took fuel only on your last 2 stops. How did you feel? How confident were you that that was going to work out?
I knew we didn't need tires. I think where I won the race is, I think the caution where every single body came in but me. I think I had like 3 laps less gas. I think that's what got me the win, just kind of keeping the track position. And then I had John Fike pit with me. I thought I was going to be pitting alone, but I had like a group of 4, and it worked perfectly because we were able to dice through the field and just keep it up front. And then, I mean, Fike was doing good. I just got to buy him on a restart and was able to keep it up there. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
I can tell. I mean, it has been. It was a podium finish. Alex Gagnon brought this up in the summer race last year. You got a podium finish here, and you make it 2 better here, Dylan. So we knew you could perform here at the super speedways, but when you're coming off of that white flag up in the air, final restart, there's no other drivers behind you except for the 4 that you've worked with all race long, and you knew how they were going to race.
Yes, sir. I I had Al on my bumper, and I knew he'd stay committed till the very end until he got a run. I don't think he ever got a run, so it kind of worked out. That's the difference from here and last July. I didn't really have any teammates up front with me, so they all drove by me on the outside and passed me. So this time I had a teammate with me, and I'm thankful.
Again, congratulations, Dylan. And I know this goes out to everybody. They're happy to see you finally seal the deal. Congratulations on starting off season 6 the right way. You're the points leader. Go ahead and shout them out.
Yes, sir. First off, I want to thank my sponsor, Sit Down Marks. I want to thank Dreamwave Wrestling. I want to thank Winnebago. I want to thank my painter, Joe Wells. I want to thank, shout out again, Sit Down Marks, the best pro wrestling podcast out there. So give them a follow and tune in. They go live, I think, every Wednesday. So check them out. I want to thank my team, Slightly Dangerous Racing. Jeremiah Nelson, Sam Taylor, Al Likens, Grant Turner, Chris Schaefer. I want to thank my lovely wife, and I want to thank all the fans out there that watched tonight. This is for you boys and girls, and I appreciate it. And I want to thank you guys because I'm excited to go back and watch this thing. And one more, the admins. I want to thank everybody there. I think I got everybody covered, so I appreciate
think you got them all. Got them all, Dill Pickle. Good job out there tonight, and we'll see you next week at Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Y'all boys be good.
Race winner here tonight at Daytona, Dylan Picklesheimer in the season opener in the 33. He will be your points leader going into Atlanta. But we have one other driver to pull up into this booth. It's going to be your second place finisher, John Fike, in the number 65.
Hey there, John. You got a copy?
I got y'all. How are y'all?
Doing pretty good. I'm going to ask you the same question. I mean, you went from 35th to 2nd here tonight, had a chance on the white flag to go after the win. Can't ask for anything more than that, to have the opportunity there, but it was carnage behind you coming to the checkered. Talk to us a little bit about your race, and then, talk to us a little bit about what was going on in your mind in the last lap there.
Yeah, for sure. Hate that I missed last week at the, for the qualifying race, but started from the back, worked my way up, got caught up in Rob's wreck at one point, and I had to burn a fast repair. So I'm just sitting there thinking the whole time, well, here it goes again. We're gonna get another one, but was able to pit with Pickle and work my way back up to the front. Honestly, on that last restart, I knew he was going to take where he did, and I felt like I had a good chance. If the wreck wouldn't have happened behind me, I probably would have had a little bit more help and a little more momentum. But at that point, it kind of just is what it was.
Yes, I was going to ask, because you had a fantastic move on that restart there, the drop in directly behind him, going through 1 and 2, put yourself in prime position, and then it seemed like just when the time was right for you to go out there and make a move, the rest of the field was gone, and it was just the two of you, Al Likens and Matt Robinson, were the only people left standing. How tough is it to get a run when there's just so few cars left in the pack at that point?
Yeah, at that point, especially with these Gen 7, with the Gen 7 cars, it's miserable when you lose half your pack, and especially if you get on the outside or by yourself or whatever, you just lose so much steam. So like I said, I felt like I would have had a little bit of better chance, but I've raced with Pickle enough on super speedway races to know what he was going to do, and we work very well together. So I'm very, very excited to see him come home with a win.
He got the win. You got the biggest mover of the day and some great points to start the year with the runner-up finish. John, anyone you'd like to shout out here tonight on the podium effort?
Yeah, for sure. You see Dime Piece on my hood this year. A huge shout out to him. Go check his music out on all streaming platforms. Zarni Media, Zach Arnold on the back of the car this year as well. So go check him out on Instagram. He follows NASCAR content. Work friends and family, everybody screaming, yelling for me, trying to win this. All the boys in Michigan. It's great to bring home a top 5 at the first race of the year and not get crashed out.
It was a ton of fun watching you go to work there. Tough situation on the last lap trying to go for the win, but ultimately was fun to watch you guys do what you did here tonight and go out there and take home those top spots. John, congrats on the podium to start the year, and excited to see when the next time it is we'll be able to chat with you. Hopefully it's soon.
Let's do this again soon.
All right, and that is your runner-up finisher here tonight, John Fike, in that 65 machine.
And the last driver we're going to bring up is your third place finisher, and it's going to be Al Likens in the number 13. Al, you finished in, I mean, you just cut your camera off. I had you here and then you cut it off, Al. I thought you I was just about to hit the button there, Al. But you come out here with a 15 lap sled. You started in 10th. You led a lot of laps, especially in the first portion of this race. And then you watch the whole field disappear behind you. It's down to 4 cars. And you just have to make the move. It's just an execution thing.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's get down to 4, I was committed to 33. Obviously, you know, me or my teammate, that's my goal for one of us to win. So, but when he went top, I knew I was just along for the ride at that point.
Well, we go back to the beginning of this race and the 260 miles that we ran here today. It's such a long event. How do you keep your focus through all of that and be in a scenario to even have a chance?
Just try to make smart moves, not do nothing too erratic and cause a wreck. That was my goal, not just to pace and try to maintain the touch with the top 10. If I was in the top 10 with 10 to go, I had a chance. That's what I kept telling myself, don't get in the wreck. But, you know, I dodged a few and got a little bit of damage, but I was able to work my way back to the front.
Finally, Al, you get a top 3. You're going into Atlanta, very similar racing scenario for that event as well. Do we see the 13 car performing well there as we've seen at Daytona?
That's the goal I'm hoping to do. I was coming in this season hoping to have a little more speed than I did in the previous season. So that's what I've really been working on, is trying to get faster. So fingers crossed at this point.
Again, congratulations, Al. Short, sweet, and to the point. Anybody you got to shout out here for tonight's podium finish?
Yeah, I'd like to give a big shout out to Darrell Johnson. But for him, this wouldn't be possible. And obviously God, my family, then all my teammates here at Slightly Dangerous Racing, then Racing Revolution, the league, then Vspeed for a great broadcast you all do. We appreciate you all.
Gonna be Al Likens in the 13. We'll see you in 7 days' time when we go to Georgia. So there you have it, your top 3 here this evening. And, well, Alex, I know that this racetrack needed no introduction, but the next one, it might. And here tonight, your final thoughts from Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona, I mean, can't ever go wrong with Daytona, man. It's been a fun track. It was a fun race here tonight. Crazy finish. And, you know, we're getting ready to rack them up and do the same thing again next week, just with about half the asphalt. Same style of racing, far less real estate to work in.
Yeah, Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, coming up here on February 22nd. Or 25th, rather. You can catch that all live here on Vspeed. Hit the subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We've had some technical issues, some Discord errors. None of this stuff is in my control, so I apologize if maybe some things were a little discombobulated. It seemed to clear up there towards the end, but we'll make sure to have that all ironed out for race number 2 of the Chapman Cup Series. That's going to do it for us here on Vspeed. We hope you enjoyed tonight's action. Again, hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single one. 36 races in the season. The 1.5 mile oval coming up very, very soon. It was the 33 of Dylan Picklesheimer with his first victory ever in Chapman Cup Series history. John Fike, Al Likens, the top 3. And as we talk about next week, it's going to be more of the same. Draft racing coming here live. Hope you enjoyed tonight's action. For Alex Gagnon, my co-commentator, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, and everybody in the admin booth that helped make this race possible, this is Bradley Cooper saying so long. It's another production of Vspeed. We'll see you in 7 days in Atlanta. Until then, stay tracking, everybody.